Hey everyone, I'm Ms. Mulkowski, the mathematician, and today we are going to find the vertex of a parabola. All right, so I've got my parabola here in standard form, y equals 2x squared minus 6x plus 7. So if you remember, there's sort of like a formula, if you will, or a way to find the vertex when you're given a parabola in standard form. And that is that the vertex is located at C, the opposite of b over 2a, comma, because that's the x-coordinate, f of the opposite of b over 2a. All right, there we go. So basically, all we have to say is, all right, if I want to get the vertex, I just need to find my A, my B, and my C. And actually, I guess I don't need my C for this. And I just do the opposite of B over 2A. Then I take that number that I get and I plug it back into the function. That's what this means, f of, like if it had said f of 3, for example. Okay, it would just mean plug in 3 for x. So you solve for the x-coordinate. This is the x-coordinate of the vertex. This is the y. And you can remember that too. You just say, okay, if I want to know a y value and I know the x value, I just plug it in. All right, so let's give it a shot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write this as f of x instead of y, because I've found when students do that, that they're less likely to mess up the y coordinate, because then they see, oh, it's f of x. Oh, f of x. Oh, I know what x is. Okay, I just plug it in, you know. All right, so first we need to say what our A, our B, and our C are. So A, remember that is just the coefficient of our x squared term, so that's going to be 2. B is the coefficient of our x term, which in this case is negative 6. And C is our constant, which is 7. All right, I know we don't really need it, but it's just good practice to always put it up there, I feel. Perfect, you're less likely to make a mistake when everything is right in front of you. All right, so we're gonna start with the x coordinate. So we're going to say x. Okay. So we know that that is going to equal the opposite of b over 2a. Okay. Remember, this is the x coordinate. Okay. So in this case, we are going to do the opposite of b. Okay. So here's my b. My b is negative 6. Now, I want you to notice that I don't say negative b. I say the opposite of b. And the reason that I say that is I have found when I would say negative b, that kids would be like, oh, b's already negative, I'm all set, and they would literally write negative 6, right? But no, it's the opposite of b. So if b is negative 6, okay, then it's positive 6. The opposite of b is positive 6, okay? Not all students make that mistake, but it is just something, that's why I always say the opposite, because I found that that cuts down on students just wanting everything to be negative. All right, so opposite of negative 6 is positive 6 over 2 times A is 2, so that's going to be 2 times 2, so we have 6 over 2 times 2 is 4. Now, make sure you reduce this if you can. You can in this case, but you don't want to be working with bigger numbers than you have to, right? Why do more work than you have to? I wouldn't want to. So they're both divisible by 2, so that's going to be 3 over 2. Perfect. So the x-coordinate of the vertex, okay, is 3 over 2. And I always like to write things as fractions. I do not like decimals. I really do not like mixed numbers. Mixed numbers just, when we're dealing with higher level math, like it just makes stuff complicated. I will admit occasionally a mixed number is good. Like sometimes the math will work out nicely, but just improper fraction. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this is the shirt I was wearing. I heart improper fractions. Leave everything as an improper fraction. Okay, perfect. So 3 over 2 is my x-coordinate of the vertex. All right, now we're going on to the y. Okay, again, you're leaving it as an improper fraction because it's just going to make the math easier when we do this. So now what we want is f of 3 over 2. So f of 3 over 2. Okay, so that's going to equal, remember, what this means is we just, wherever we see an x, okay, so we're coming right up here. Wherever we see an x, we are plugging in 3 over 2, okay? So it's going to be 2 times 3 over 2 squared minus 6 times 3 over 2. Oh no, I'm running out of room. Plus 7. Whoops. Okay, I think you can all see that. All right, so I'll move over slightly. Okay, so now 3 over 2 squared. Remember, we have to distribute that squared to both the numerator and the denominator. So it's going to be 2 times 3 squared, which is 9, over 2 squared, which is 4. Okay, minus 6 times 3 over 2. So then remember, we multiply this to the numerator because it's like it where 6 over 1, and then you just multiply across. 6 times 3 over 1 times 2. So that's going to be 18 over 2, and then plus 7. Okay, now, look at this. We've got a 2 here and a 4 here, so we can simplify this, okay? So we can say, all right, I can get rid of this 2 and knock that to a 2, okay? So now I'm just looking at 9 over 2, all right, minus 18 over 2. Now, because I'm dealing with everything over 2, I just want you to write 7 as something over 2. So how can I illustrate 7 as something over 2? Well, that's just going to be 14. 14 over 2 is 7. Now, if you needed to kind of see, I'll write over here quickly. You know, a quick way to do that is we multiply by 2 over 2, right? So then 7 times 2 is 14 over 2. Now remember, this is really like 7 over 1, but we don't always show that, okay? Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to simplify. So 9 over 2 minus 18 over 2, that's going to be negative 9 over 2. Whoops, sorry. Make that a little better there. And then plus 14 over 2. Perfect. Now I just add across. I'm getting really low here. All right, so negative 9 plus positive 14. So think you're at negative 9 on the number line. You are adding 14 to that. I'm going to end up in positive territory, and it's going to be 5. And then over 2. Perfect. So now I have my y coordinate, 5 over 2. I don't have a comma in between. I gotta get that purple marker. Perfect. Awesome. So the vertex for this specific parabola is located at 3 over 2, comma 5 over 2. Now, if your teacher does want that written as a mixed number or does want that written as a decimal, that's fine too. You can always, I always say if you're unsure what your teacher wants, write everything. You know what I mean? Like write it as an improper fraction, write it with mixed numbers, and write it with a decimal, because then you've got every possible answer. And teachers, if you want it a certain way, don't forget that when you say find the vertex of a parabola, write like leave your answer as an improper fraction, or if necessary, because sometimes if you say that, it'll give it away that they need an improper fraction as an answer. So it's your choice how you write it, but if you don't specify, just know that students could end up writing it in any form, so be prepared for that. And students, if you want to be super safe, write it in every form so that you have every possible form, because sometimes teachers will say in class and not necessarily on the test, every time you do this, leave it as an improper fraction. So they're going to assume that you're going to remember that for the test. So just, it's always good, I feel like, to be safe to write everything if you have to, or improper fractions, because you know improper fractions are the best. So there you go. Hey everyone, I'm Ms. Milkowski, the mathematician, and I hope you found that last video helpful. If you have any questions, or if there are any topics you'd like to see me cover in future videos, definitely let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm going to leave you with the most important piece of advice I can give you, which is when you're doing mathematics, always ask why.